I want to tell you a story about Jaquan's broken arm. Jaquan broke his arm and had to get an ambulance ride to the hospital. He spent a day in the emergency room getting his arm fixed. After that, he had to see specialists to make sure that his arm was healing correctly. Lastly, he had to do a bunch of imaging, x-rays, to make sure that his bones were healing in the right way. Guess what? The hospital sent a bill of $5,600 to cover the cost of the broken arm. That includes the ambulance ride, the emergency room, the visits to the doctors, and the x-ray. Oh my God. $5,600. Where is that money going to come from? Well, it turns out that in the end, Jaquan paid $700 out of his own pocket for this medical care. Well, where did the other money come from? Here we're going to introduce a concept called health insurance. There are health insurance companies, and what happened was Jaquan is a member of this health insurance company. Every month, he pays some money to be a part of this health insurance company. Now, if something bad happens, let's say he breaks his arm and goes to the hospital and incurs thousands of dollars worth of medical costs, the insurance company is going to pay a lot of that money, a lot of this money, $5,600. The insurance company is going to cover a lot of that money. Now, Jaquan is going to be responsible for some of it, but the insurance is going to cover the bulk of it. And so you can see that of this $5,600, Jaquan spent $700, and the insurance company spent $4,900 to pay the hospital. Well, there are a lot of insurance companies out there. Some of the biggest, United Healthcare, Humana, etc. And they all offer three types of healthcare plans in general. We call them coinsurance plans, copayment plans, and high deductible plans. Each of those plans, there's different flavors of those plans. So you could, for United Healthcare, they could have United Healthcare Choice, United Healthcare Choice Plus, or United Healthcare Options, or All Savers, or Alternate, etc. There's all these different brand names or plan names, but they all fall into these different buckets, whether it's a coinsurance plan type, a copayment plan type, or a high deductible plan type. Hey, for each of those plan types, there are different variables that make up these plan types. And we're going to be learning about these variables right here, these 5 variables: premiums, deductibles, coinsurance, copayment, out-of-pocket maximums. And when you're deciding which type of insurance to get, you're going to look at these 5 variables to make sure that they fit you the best. Well, let's quickly go through these, and you can learn a little bit about what premiums are, etc. So let's look at monthly premiums. This is the amount of money that you pay the insurance each month to have access to the insurance plan. Now, it's important to note that you pay this amount whether you use healthcare or not. So in this case, let's imagine that Jaquan paid $300 a month in premiums. So every month he pays $300 to the insurance company. Well, hey, after 12 months, he's paid $3,600 even if he's never used healthcare. Maybe this year he's never went to the doctor, he didn't break his arm, etc. He still pays this $3,600 in premiums. It's kind of like your membership fee. Okay, well, let's look at premiums then. So your monthly premium. Oh, I'm sorry. So the question is, which of these plans is best? Well, wouldn't it be nice to only pay $60 a month as opposed to $330 a month? So in this case, the monthly premium, the best plan for monthly premium is this high deductible plan. Hey, let's go look at deductibles. So we were looking at premiums. Now we're going to look at deductibles. And the deductible is the amount you pay for healthcare services before your insurance plan starts to pay. So let's take an example here. Now, we already know that you're going to pay $3,600 in premiums. You're also going to pay the first $3,500 in medical expenses. If you go to the doctor, if you have an ambulance ride, if you blah, 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 all of that, you pay the first $3,500. After that, your insurance starts to pay. This number changes based on your healthcare plan and company, but I'm just, as an example, you could pay their first $3,500 out of your pocket. Well, let's look at this example. Which plan is best? For premiums, we said this plan was best, the high deductible plan. But let's see which plan is best for your annual deductible. Look at this. This copayment plan has an annual deductible of $3,500, whereas this one, you have to pay the first $5,000, and this one, you have to pay the first $10,000. So in this case, for deductibles, this copayment plan is going to be best. Let's keep going. How about coinsurance? This is the percent of costs of your health care that you pay after you paid your deductible. Let's go see what that looks like. Hey, we know that you pay $3,600 in premiums. We know that you pay the first $3,500 in medical expenses. After that, we know that your insurance starts to pay, but you pay 20% of any costs up to $2,000. So you're responsible for some of this, 20% of this, pay up until $2,000. So again, which plan is best? If we're looking at coinsurance, you can see that copayments typically don't have coinsurance. And so isn't that nice? So in this case, a copayment plan may be best. All right, hey, let's keep, I'm sorry, that was coinsurance. Now let's look at copayment. So this is a fixed amount you pay for a covered plan healthcare service after you've paid your deductible. So check this out. We know that you pay $3,600 in premiums. We know that you pay the first $3,500 of your medical care. And you pay $20 every visit to the doctor. So let's say you go to the doctor once, you pay $20. If you go 3 times, you pay $60. So let's see which plan is best. Well, obviously, not having to pay every time you go see a doctor is best. So, in this case, it would be better to have one of these plans. And then lastly, here is your out-of-pocket maximum. This is a cap or limit on the amount of money you have to pay for healthcare in a given year. So let's look at this example below. We know that you pay $3,600 in premiums. We know that you pay the first $3,500 of your medical expenses. we know that insurance starts to kick in, but you also pay 20% of any healthcare costs up to $10,000. Then, after you've reached $10,000, that's your out-of-pocket maximum, insurance starts to pay 100% of your medical care. So, when considering out-of-pocket maximum, which plan is best? Well, in this case, your out-of-pocket maximum for this coinsurance plan is $8,000. For the copayment plan, it's $10,000. And for your high deductible, it's $15,000. So obviously, this one is best. As you can see, when we look at this, it's not really clear which plan is best. It's mixed. Sometimes the high deductible plan is best, sometimes the copayment plan is best, etc. Hey, let's bring this back to Jaquan. Jaquan broke his arm and he got a medical bill of $5,600. This is how it would shake out with these different plans. With a coinsurance plan, he's responsible for $700 of this. With a copayment plan, he's responsible for $500. And for the high deductible, he's responsible for all of it. So which is best? Well, in this case, the copayment plan is best. Let's change the scenario a little bit. Let's say Jaquan really broke his arm and all of a sudden his healthcare shot up. So now it's 50, 55, this should say $57,000. Wonder if Jaquan's medical care costs $57,000, not $5,000. Now you can see that Jaquan reached his limit of $10,000 here. He reached his limit here. He's reached his limit here. Now which plan is best? You can see that now the coinsurance plan is best. Before it was the copayment plan, but because circumstances have changed, now it's the coinsurance plan. And then let's take one more example. Let's say Jaquan didn't break his arm. Let's say that he just had to go to a couple doctor's visits, but he didn't have an ambulance ride or an emergency room or x-rays or anything like that. Now which plan is best? You can see that the high deductible plan is best because he only had to pay $800, whereas these plans he had to pay more because of the premiums. It gets even more complicated when you start layering in family. So maybe Jaquan, or in this case Yusuf, has a family all under his healthcare plan. Now when we come back and we look at which plan is best, it gets complicated. That leads us to this, our tool here. This is our simulation tool. What we're going to do here is we're going to put in different scenarios. So for instance, we could look at hey, I went to the doctor 4 times in a year. It had a total cost of $1,600. Here are our 3 plan types: coinsurance, copayment, high deductible. And we can see down here how much we had to pay. In this case, for this plan, we had to pay $4,290. For this one, $4,680, and for this one, $1,900. So in this case, this plan type is best. Wonder if we had to spend a day in the hospital. All of a sudden, that adds $12,000 to our bill. And you can see now for the coinsurance, we had to pay $6,200. For the copayment, $4,000. And for the high deductible, $11,000 for the entire year. So in this case, the coinsurance is best. The copayment plan is best. And so you can come up here and you can experiment with different options here, and you can input the plan details here. So maybe the monthly premium for this was actually $300. And so then it shakes out a little bit different. Now it's $7,000. So that's what's great about this tool. This tool allows you to get in and experiment with medical costs over the course of a year, and then see, based on these plan types, how much you are responsible for paying over the year. So have fun with this. This is, once you learn healthcare, it's really empowering. And so have fun with this, and let's see if you can detail out the different scenarios.